Welcome to the channel, guys. This is a new miniature painting with figures, animals, landscape, and kind of a semi-abstract landscape. And I'm wanting to do another one similar to that painting, and show you all of the steps I've taken and some up close look. I have a whole bunch of repurposed plywood that I made little canvases with, and so it's a little panel primed, and I started building up some painterly layers. I had some leftover paint on my palette the day before, and I smeared that dark purple and brown over with palette knife, and then today I am already following the layout from the previous study. And so I am wanting to find like subtle and beautiful and light gray, green, blue, and set up these largest, most shapes, such as the foreground divided from something in the next ground, like in a midground, and then at the top there maybe suggestion that there is landscape and water and reflection. And here I am starting to sketch in the figure of the traveler. So it's just a kind of a stylized, kind of a cartoon version of a figure, and I'm trying to capture a gesture of someone sitting with leaning against their backpack. And so I am going off to kind of craft everything and create a form, a shape of a figure. The layer of paint underneath is still wet, and I like that. It kind of mixes my black in with the light gray, making a variety of mid-tone grays, and somehow that adds to the three-dimensional properties of the element that I'm trying to create. I'm really keen on portraying like the essence or the nature, or like I would like to show a doggie having this alertness and pointedness to their nose, and the cute way that it's sitting on the ground with its tail behind it. So I would study and sketch all of these subjects for years, so I have quite a bit of personal, intimate relationship with the imagery that I am using. And a human, kind of a backpacker, traveler, nomad, and just so I'm just biting into the image, and I am trying to see what would be effective, graceful, simple enough that I can paint it. How can I kind of stylize the figure? I am paying attention to proportions. At the same time, I am inventing a kind of a style, like a character, and that's enjoyable. And it is possible to, if I am careful, it is possible to get a lot done and show a lot with kind of a minimal effort. And that's the part where I start trying to make the profile or the head of the person, and it might have turned out good right away, and then I would go ahead and for some reason I would want to rework it. So let's look at the function of the off-white paint that I am placing in the negative space. This is to further set up contrast between background and foreground where subjects are prominent, and I need them to really pop from the page and be really visible, so I'm using contrast, light and dark. At the same time, that light off-white layer was useful for me to correct the dark drawing. So if I wanted to play around with the edges of the objects and the way they are drawn, I could have easily, I probably shortened the sock of the foot, because proportionately, it doesn't have to be overly proportionate, but I like to have, I want to see enough satisfying, intimately, dynamically portrayed human figure. I don't know, there is something about a really interesting design to the figure. And I find animals, in my experience and in my studies, animals are easier to learn about how to put together these overall satisfying forms and shapes, and they only have they're accentuated at the face more and a few other areas. And human figure maybe is double challenging for me. And now I am setting up colors for the different features within the figure of a lady, girl, or a female sitting on what is an abstract shore in front of an abstract pond. And I noticed that once I had a lot going on within the figures, it looks like I am almost ready to touch up the figures and finish them all together. So I thought, all right, the background is kind of left behind on being underdeveloped. So I went and built up, and I'm building the layers that I envisioned for the background. I'm really pleased with what blue and green tints, light blue and green, look like together. I'm really pleased with that. And the black, white, and gray to add to this, I think there is a harmonious light and dark and color flavor balance on kind of a take on this. So I thought, on my miniatures, I want to preserve painterly immediacy and that immediate quality, some roughness, certain roughness to the layer that I put on. So I am applying strokes and filling areas with a varied pressure. I am trying to break it up kind of stylize and abstracting into the surfaces. It's kind of a deliberate off focusing, so out of focusing kind of happening. And there's when I am not so sure what to place next, when I'm approaching and closer to the finalizing of the painting project, I would say, okay, let's take time off, have lunch or dinner, come back and take another look at this painting and see what I'm gonna spot then when I had a chance to kind of forget what it looks like. And so I went back and I saw a lot of things that I could improve. I thought the whole area where the water is kind of flat, a little similar in tone. The light blue, the light gray, the green gray, they're kind of too close, light and dark wise. So I went back into it and broke it up a little more with like drone lines and smears, and then I sharpened up the lines and shadows within the figure, gave even more particular, sharper, detailed information, and that's it. Then I thought, all right, we'll call it quits. And thanks for joining and have an interest in this channel. Cheers. Do, 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 do.